Now it's time for Taking the Mic. It's hard to imagine what life might be like under a Labour government headed by Sir Keir Starmer, isn't it? I mean, the man they call a safe pair of hands is hardly playing a blinder, is he? Only yesterday, he was stuck in goal for his Sunday League football team, and it wasn't a great success. In fact, his team lost 14-8, which sounds more like a rugby score than a football one. And one picture shows goalie Starmer trying and failing rather awkwardly to stop one of the goals from going in. Still, he does talk a good game, like he does on striking unions, like he does on immigration, like he does on his new Green Deal, all of which he has flip-flopped spectacularly on recently. For instance, Labour's leader has said he would have more meaningful dialogue with union leaders like Mick Lynch from the RMT or Dr Rob Lawrenson from the BMA, whatever that means. Luckily for us, though, there are other ways to determine what Labour in power would actually look like. And I can tell you, it ain't pretty. Last night, at the 11th hour, in the final minute of the 11th hour to be precise, London's Mayor Sadiq Khan stepped in to the long-running dispute between the RMT Rail Union and Transport for London. Tube trains were due to be cancelled for the entirety of this week, leaving millions of commuters stranded and forced to either work from home or struggle in through hours and hours of traffic jams. But just minutes before the strike was due to start, Sadiq announced the strike was off because he'd found some extra money from somewhere. Quite how much remains unclear. But we all know where that somewhere is, of course. It's from you and me. Given that the extended London ULEZ fees and fines are bringing in hundreds of millions of pounds to the Khan coffers, it's probably not going to be too hard to work out just where the cash is coming from. But it's a bad look, isn't it? Because all that Khan's intervention has proven is that he will bow to the will of the powerful union bosses. And I mean, what happens the next time they threaten to strike? The odious Mick Lynch is already boasting that the extra money being made available is going to be a game changer when it comes to urgent negotiations for the future. Well, I think we should be told under whose authority Khan is operating. After all, this is the guy who promised 0 strike days during his last election campaign, and since getting in, we've had to suffer 130 strikes. That's right, 130. Now it's clear he's in the pocket of the extreme left. There can only be worse to come. And all this while London gets ever more dangerous, ever more expensive and more difficult to get around. It really is time to get this overpaid, overbearing and self-aggrandising mayor replaced by someone who cares about our great capital city and all the people living and working in it, not just the ones he gets to vote for him.